You're watching the TC MMA podcast.
Now it's time, ladies and gentlemen, to get into the big title fight. Leon Edwards versus Belal Muhammad. And the welterweight division was once very interesting. It still is, but not quite as interesting as when you had Usman at the top, Colby Covington chasing him, Leon Edwards on a major win streak. Now it's an unbeaten streak, only because of the eye poke against Leon Edwards. So you have a very exciting situation. But here's what it sounded like back in the day when Leon Edwards KO'd Usman. One of the most surprising finishes that we've ever witnessed since doing this podcast. Check this out.
And you've seen these fights too from like Adesanya. Usman usually dominates, but so people are expecting a big finish here. But Leon Edwards is a worthy opponent. We see that now. Okay, we get it. Oh my God! Oh my God! Leon Edwards KO'd Usman. Are you kidding me, bro? Usman just lost the welterweight title. The best pound-for-pound fighter in the world gets knocked out in the final minute, and people are going to be going bananas. Holy crap! Oh my God. Wow. Oh my God. Usman took a left leg kick. Oh my gosh. Just as I was saying, this is why this is the greatest sport. If you're still standing in the end, you can, one thing, boom, left leg kick right to the chin, and Usman is done. Unbelievable. All right, let's see this now because Usman got up complaining, but okay. All right, he's down. Yeah, Usman's out. Forget it. Not even a question. Oh my gosh, man. Wow. Unbelievable. This is going to go down as the most shocking finish in UFC history. I don't care what anybody says. The most shocking finish ever. Holy cow. Wow. Wow. By knockout and new. Woo!
Tell you what, it still gives me chills to see that. Yeah, still to this day, one of the most surprising finishes in UFC history, and it just changed the entire landscape. He came back and beat Usman a second time. And the reason why it was surprising is Usman, like in any other sport, you're just cruising to victory. Football, it's like, you're running the clock, just run the ball, take a knee, whatever, and then you fumble and the other team scores. I mean, that's basically what happened here. Usman just needed one more minute, and it doesn't matter what happens in the fifth round. It's going to be 10-9 Edwards, and he wins 48-47 across the board. Clearly. And it ended up going the other way on a big finish. And that's why this sport is the most exciting in the world. Because anything can happen. I mean, anything. Now, let's get into this fight. Edwards versus Belal, the rematch. We only have a little bit to go off of in the previous fight because it was stopped early. But it's certainly going to be an exciting fight. And when a title's on the line, all eyes are watching. Check this out. In the welterweight division at UFC 304, this is your main event for the welterweight title. You got Leon Edwards, current champion, coming in at 22-3, taking on Belal, remember the name, Muhammad, who comes in at 23-3. So both of these guys with very similar records. This is going to be a great championship fight. Not one that I think a lot of people are really wanting to see, but at least it gets the division moving forward regardless of who wins. Now, Edwards is 3 inches taller at 6'2". He's right in the prime, 32 years old. Belal Muhammad, 35. Edwards has a 2-inch reach advantage. He fights left-handed. Muhammad fights right-handed. Now, Belal's better in terms of activity and takedowns. He lands 4.6 significant strikes per minute to 2.8 for Edwards, and lands 2 takedowns every 3 rounds. Edwards just 1 every 3 rounds, but Edwards has good takedown defense. So as we dig a little bit deeper, Rocky, aka Leon Edwards, like I said, 70% takedown defense. That's really good. Beat Colby Covington by decision to defend the belt. Beat Usman twice to win the belt and retain the belt. And beat Nate Diaz prior to that. Now, on the other hand, Belal Muhammad's on a tremendous run. He did have the no contest against Edwards. But other than that, he's run off like 9 straight victories. Right? He's unbeaten in the last 10 fights. So both of these guys, very similar. This is like when you had Oliveira versus Makhachev. Both guys on tremendous winning streaks. But because of the no contest, it's hard to say winning streak, which they both are on. But when you look at the unbeaten streak, both of these guys are like 10, 11, 12 fights in since they lost. So it's a perfect matchup. Now, despite the numbers, what we saw in the first fight is after the first round, Leon Edwards led 19-8 in significant strikes, right? The fact that Edwards is a lefty really was confusing Belal Muhammad. He was having trouble being active, right? Think about it. He was averaging like 1.4 significant strikes per minute compared to his normal average, which is way below the normal average. So I think that's a sign of what's to come in this fight. Leon Edwards tend to keep his opponents off balance, which we saw against Colby Covington, right? Colby just landing 44 significant strikes in a 5-round fight. Did have 2 takedowns, but I don't think Belal will do that to Leon. Leon's too good here. He's got the height advantage. He's got the experience. He's the current champion. He's fighting at home. For all those reasons, I like Leon Edwards to get the job done in this fight and win it by decision. It's going to go the distance. In my opinion, it's going to be a long fight, but he'll win by unanimous decision to move to 23-3, and it's hard to say how, but he's just going to limit Belal Muhammad. That's the bottom line, to retain the welterweight belt here at UFC 304. Yeah, and again, I mean, the only one we've gone against is Tom Aspinall, right? Among the home fighters, you're talking about Molly McCann, Paddy Pimblett, Tom Aspinall, and Leon Edwards. And the fact that Leon's fighting at home and he started out so strong in the previous fight leads me to believe that he's just going to walk away with this victory, probably 48-47, right? It'll be like 3-1 going into the 5th. Belal will surge at the end because he has to, but Leon Edwards will stave off the finish and get the victory. That's just how I see it going. And Leon Edwards even going further to say, you know, Belal doesn't even have a big enough name to fight at UFC 300, in so many words. He had multiple other offers, including Khamzat Chimaev, believe it or not, to fight at UFC 300, but none of those things came to fruition. Travel issues for Khamzat, other potential fights, right? Big names to get him on the UFC 300 card, but the UFC did the right thing in saving him for this setting because, you know, after 300, everybody fought. And you're going to have some weak cards after the fact. So this at least keeps a card strong at the top for UFC 304, and you got a title on the line. But make no mistake, Leon Edwards is coming out with the victory here, in my opinion, and he'll do so fairly easily.
He's gon' fight, he's gon' fight. Hold your breath till the end of the night. Last fighter call, UFC at its height. Bringing that thunder with all his might. Saying, step up, wanna fight? Hold up, think twice. Gladiator assassin, reckless, no abandon. Walk through that cage, he'll leave your ass.